Dorothy in Mount Hope, what's your question for David?
Yes, I've been launching Dollarama, and I've been waiting for a pullback, but just in the last 2 weeks, it looks like it's gone up probably close to $15. I wondered if it's too late to jump in, or if you would still consider buying this stock, and I wonder what the street consensus is on it.
Sure thing, Dorothy.
Dorothy, you know how to hurt me.
This one gets personal?
This is one that's gotten away on us. You know, I love to find companies that are good getting better, and Dollarama is one of them. If you look at the price chart on Dollarama, about every 3 months it seems to gap higher, and that comes when the earnings are released, and they've been able to exceed expectation pretty regularly. I've been very cautious on the retail space overall, and so we have a very low weighting there. But the dollar stores, in particular Dollarama, has been a really good foil against the group. So while we have Amazon, we don't have Dollarama. The one thing I would say about Dollarama is that it tends to rally around earnings period and then consolidate afterwards. So I would say in the very short run, it's a little bit extended here. It's a little bit stretched away from the 50-day moving average, so there's probably a little bit of risk in it. But look, it's a great company, and it's doing particularly well against a very tough environment for retail. And so as a long-term hold, I think that it's a good one. I would just hesitate a little bit about reaching for it after it's had the kind of ramp it's had in the last even 2 weeks.
Interesting on my screen, too, we have 12 analysts saying buy it, 5 hold, 0 saying sell it. But despite the fact that they like it, it's outrun its price target of $146 and change right now at $158. So they think it's gotten a little ahead of itself as well.
Yeah, I think you see it pull back a little bit at some point in the next little bit. But it's a great company. It's well managed. It's got great fundamentals. Just maybe a little stretched technically.
All right, an email from Jamie wants to talk about Magna. Do you like this name?
Okay. So, Jamie, when we talk about the consumer and consumer cyclicals, we've been focused on a couple of key themes. One is travel and leisure, which has been quite strong. The second has been the structural theme around home building and home construction and home construction materials, very strong. Auto sector has really sort of come around over the last few months. And within the auto sector, I think Magna is really attractive. First of all, they're going from about $2 billion in revenue coming from assembling full cars to probably $7 billion by 2019. So that's like 45% growth in that business. It's a higher margin business. So that's very attractive. They've got a lot of European business. About 35% comes from Europe. The European auto market is quite strong. It generates a lot of free cash. They've got very good dividend growth. Stock's technically strong. I think it's a company that most institutional Canadian investors would need to own. But it's a strong company in a good group. So I'd have no problem buying the stock here. We own it currently.
Only running at 8 times forward earnings. So
it's very inexpensive relative to its peers.
All right, we have Hazen in Abbotsford, BC on the line. What's your question?
Oh, I'd like to ask David about Ford Motors. Is there any hope for it? And can you give me the street consensus, please, Greg? Thank you.
Sure thing.
So Hazen, as you know, the stock's rallied from sort of 10 to a little over 12. So it's had a good bounce. The group, as I mentioned, has been coming back into favor. But having said that, it's probably not the strongest one in the group. It's only trading stronger than about 55% of the stocks in the S&P so far this year. So there's a lot that are behaving better. If I had to pick one, I would probably be more likely to look at GM of the two. You know, they both could face some structural problems, you know, if this EV thing continues to come as it looks like it's going to. But I would probably choose GM over Ford.
Okay, as far as the street is concerned, they say 4 buys, but 18 holds and 2 sells on Ford. We got Frank in Scarborough. What's your question?
This is a great show. I would like to ask David for what's your opinion, David, about a Great West Life. what do you think? Shall I go ahead and buy it, or you don't want me to buy it? Because I'm watching it for over a year. It was about, the stock is about 33, 32, 34. It's struggling to go up to $40 a share. So I don't know, what is the dividend safe, and what's your opinion?
Sure. Okay, so Frank, as an investor who looks for structural themes, if we believe we saw a multi-year low in interest rates last June, long-term interest rates, and that they are likely to creep higher from here for, I think, many years, then you want to look at the insurance companies, right? This is a big driver of return for insurance companies. Rising rates are very good for them. If you believe that we're in a pretty good equity market, then equity returns help the insurance companies also. So this is a group that I'm quite interested in. And it's a group that could do well for many years. Now, once we get into the group, you say, well, who's winning and who's losing? And if I had to pick a Canadian insurer, I would probably pick Manulife as the leader in the group. Technically, it's acting the best. They've got a great global footprint. They've got great growth rate in Asia. We're in a bull market. You don't want to buy the one that isn't going up yet, right? Everybody's looking at the market, trying to decide what to invest in. And if they're passing this one over and over again, you probably shouldn't think that you're the only one that's thought about this at this point. So I would redirect you to look at Manulife. I think it looks more attractive. You're going down the same path, just probably with a company that's executing a little bit better.
Yeah, right now, Great-West Lifeco is only up 0.8% year to date. It's been some choppy up and down trading. We'll be back after this short break. Past picks are coming up next.